All right, everybody. Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy good afternoon or good morning if you're joining us on the West Coast. Before I introduce Lauren, if you guys are here with us live, give me a hashtag live in the comments. And if you're watching this on the replay, or if you want to save this video to watch later, comment hashtag replay because I know it's Friday. People are busy. If you're taking off of work, you're probably heading down to the beach if it's nice weather where you are and you want to actually watch this video in full later on, feel free to do so. We are so happy to have back Lauren Collura, who is actually, this is her third trip in what I call the Golden Nuggets studio because every time she's here, she drops amazing, amazing value. Lauren has earned over $50,000 online as an affiliate, and those numbers are staggering. Lauren, it is great to see you. How are you, and what have you been doing nowadays?
Great to see you, Anthony. Always great to be here at Golden Nugget Studio. I can't believe it's my third time. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I doing nowadays? That's a really good question. I am moving along here like all of us in life, right? Just taking it one step at a time. Um, I just wanted to tell your audience really quickly because I'm not sure who knows me and who doesn't, but I also have another business. I have an offline business in addition to my online business here as a high ticket affiliate and coach. I'm also a professional chef with my own catering business. So I work both of these businesses. Luckily, catering is a seasonal business, so I don't have to be like doing it all the time. But I've had it for 18 years. It's my baby, and it hit a really rough time during COVID. And luckily, I was able to resurrect it. So I'm careful that I keep it alive and kicking as much as possible. So I've been, if in answer to what I've been doing, I've been kind of doing what I just said, delicately juggling both things. And right now, catering is slow because of the season. So I'm back here doing my high ticket as diligently as I possibly can. So that's pretty much what I've been up to.
That is great, Lauren. I'm happy that you created multiple avenues for revenue, and you guys have noticed in my content, it really has evolved quite a bit. I've been stressing on multiple streams of revenue, multiple avenues of revenue. Just like with years ago, you cannot depend on one spouse bringing home the money. Things have been different now. We have high inflation, and just having one salary or maybe having two spouses work that bring home a decent salary is not as powerful as it was years ago. So that's why you've seen my content kind of evolve to, okay, you don't have to be married with doing one set of marketing skill sets. You can do high ticket and or physical products. You can do high ticket and create your courses. You can do high ticket and become a coach, or you can do something offline on the side. Whatever it is that you do, if it's in your capacity, I recommend doing multi streams of income. And of course, it's a lot better when they could be passive or residual. But we'll probably get into that on another video because today's video, the title is Mastering Facebook Conversations while pivoting your conversations into offers, because I see a lot of affiliates, especially if they're new, having a real issue with this. And in talking about conversations, we have our conversations queen with us right here because she is so awesome. I've learned a lot from her. As far as having conversations with prospects. But let me ask you guys, whoever is here live or if you watch this on the replay, we'll come back to answer questions later on. But what common struggles do you have while you're in the DMs when talking to prospects? Is it because you don't know what direction you want to take it in, or when to actually pivot because you want to be stuck in the friend zone, just like in the dating world? You don't want to be in the friend zone forever and not get that, elusive dates, so to speak. I always like to make a lot of analogies between, doing marketing and dating because it is so true.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's very mirroring the two things. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
And even if you want to align yourself with a mentor, it's almost like you have to really have a good relationship. And it's similar to dating. You have to establish a foundation. Could be a friendship at first, but once you start to become exclusive, you want to make sure that your goals and your feelings towards each other are deeply aligned. And that was one thing I actually had to overcome, Lauren. And I think you and I spoke offline about this way in the past, where I was so like defeated, where I was talking to somebody in the conversations, we seemed to be hitting it off well, but then I find that they signed up with another affiliate for a high ticket product. And you told me many times that it is part of the game. Unfortunately, sometimes people's interests just don't align with you, but they align better with somebody else. So I think that's also a very important thing to bring into the forefront. We cannot take things personally when we have our own business, because we have to think in a world of abundance. There's always plenty of fish in the sea, and even though we're in the case of inflation right now, but money is abundance and the opportunities are abundant. So as far as I asked a question in the audience, Lauren, what do you think is one of the most common struggles that marketers face when they're in the conversations that you've seen?
I think that one of the biggest issues is, well, there's several. I mean, there's several, as we know, right? But
Hmm.
I would say that they rush too quickly to to the sales conversation, right? They don't spend enough time building rapport.
Right.
It's similar to dating, as you said, okay, where you're rushing too quickly to the hoop. And you know what I mean in dating, what that means, right? You're jumping really quickly into that physical portion of the relationship. All right. Let's just say that you're jumping into the physical portion and you're skipping over the whole part that is really the foundation that you're building, right? So, like getting to know somebody before you move to the next stage in your relationship is really, really, really important. That building of the rapport between you and the person that you're speaking with, right?
Definitely.
Right? You're that just that back and forth banter, that comfortable feeling that you have with someone that you build. Okay, it doesn't just drop out of the sky. Now, there's some relationships that will advance a lot faster than others. Like if you're met with someone in the DMs that is, let's say, closed mouthed, they just don't want to divulge information. That happens, right? You want to speak to them in a way that you're going to get them to open up.
Hmm.
Okay. And that sometimes takes a little bit of time. Like they're not going to just open up like that. Then you have some people that they're going to open up right away and they're going to just tell you their life story. This could be a combination of personality type, which you have an extrovert versus someone that's an introvert and a little bit more, let's say, reserved about what they share with people. And you have
Hmm.
people that'll just give you everything about themselves because they want to hear themselves talk, because they could be one reason, right? Or they could genuinely have a problem. Like I've had people open up to me right away in the DMs just saying, I just, like I've been doing this for a while and I haven't made any money. And I don't know why that is. I don't understand. I'm very frustrated. I never understand where I went wrong. Where did I make the mistake? So there's so many nuances to having conversations in Messenger, that it's very hard to say exactly where it goes wrong or where it goes crooked.
Hmm.
But in answer to your question, I would say that one of the main things, or two of the main things, is the building of the rapport. It's not done enough, let's say, to where you get that person comfortable enough where they're going to start opening up to you, even if they're a clam, even if you meet them and they're a clam. The way you talk to them and the way you open the conversation, what you choose to discuss in your opening conversation, as opposed to just saying, "Oh, um, I see you're an affiliate. So am I. So tell me, how are things going? Or, oh, I see you're from Kansas. That's really cool. Yeah. So tell me, I've never been to, that type of thing, as
Mhm.
opposed to actually taking the time to look at someone's profile, really looking at the profile. And I'm not saying reading every post. That's not what I mean. But what I mean is looking at the profile and getting really good where you can look at it rather quickly and kind of get an idea of the person. Like, what type of content are they posting? Read their pinned post if there is one. Get an idea of where the person is in their business. And you can do that. Once you really start doing it enough, you really can get a good idea of where the person is. And then meet them there in the DMs. Try and meet them where they are. Like, I really like that piece of content you wrote about, like sales conversations and how people kind of get stuck at a certain point in a sales conversation. Like, that was really
Mhm.
insightful. I really appreciated that post. Like, if you get that kind of a message, what are the chances that you're going to want to engage with the person that sent it to you?
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
you definitely brought up a lot of good points as far as, people love to just talk about themselves. So if you are faced with a clam, you can always go back to their profile and look at like things that they like to do or things that they've said in their posts. Because obviously, number one, why are they posting? They want to post to receive some type of interest or engagement from other people, whether it's liking, hearting, or commenting on their posts. But I think it's even more powerful is when you get somebody in a Facebook message and you talk about their posts, their contents. I feel like that's one way. I'm sure there's many different ways, but I find that's like one way to get them to open up if you're faced with a clam. Now, this is not going to work for everybody because even if I were to send a happy birthday message to somebody in the messenger, they'll probably read it and they just won't respond or even say thank you. But sometimes it's better to get the no or the people to kind of give you that buy. This way, you're gonna say, you know what, maybe I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on them. And if you kind of see the pattern, then you can always unfriend them because after all, if they're not going to be interested in having a conversation with you, your content is probably not going to hit home
yeah.
with them. So you don't want Facebook to be pushing your content on somebody like that where it could have been pushed to somebody else. So there is a lot of at a certain point in your affiliate marketing career, you have to do kind of spring cleaning, which is actually, what, this is actually a good question. I just thought of Lauren. Um, how long do you have to be in your affiliate marketing business to kind of institute some spring cleaning to kind of get rid of people that are really not the right fit, or there is no concrete time?
I don't think that there's a concrete time, to be honest. I think that when you're early on, though, that shouldn't be your first priority. I think when you're early on, your priority is to build your audience, right?
Hmm.
And that audience may or may not consist of really good connections necessarily in the beginning, right? Because there's so much going on in the beginning. You want to get used to what you're doing online, you're posting content, you're adding friends, there's so many balls to juggle. And before you actually have a good grip on the system, like on your daily action plan, before you have a really good grip on that, your last priority, I would say, would be to be removing friends. You want to build it up and you want to get your momentum going in terms of your content, your engagement, your adding of friends, you're having conversations in the DMs, right? So I would say, as a beginner, you should not really be worrying about it. Okay.
Hmm.
But then, once you're at like 1,000 friends, something in that range, and I'm just pulling that number out of the air, okay? Let's say you're at 1,000 friends and you kind of want to just kind of look at your list and see who's engaging and who isn't. At that point, I would say give a look. Again, don't devote too much time because we're talking about time here too.
Yeah.
Cleaning your list takes time and all of those things take time. And in the beginning, what you want to be concentrating on is the money making activities. And your money making activities would be adding the right people, having a really healthy pipeline of adding friends, right? Where you want to have people flowing through your ecosystem on a regular basis, consistently. And you want to be having conversations with those people, right? Because those conversations and time in the DMs is what's going to lead to money. So that's
Definitely.
what I would say, right? You want to prioritize your tasks, and cleaning your list, especially early on, is definitely not a priority. Um, the other thing to consider with that, too, Anthony, is that people, if they're not engaging with your content, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not watching what you're doing. There is that section of people that are going to be reading your stuff. They're not going to be hearting it. They're not going to be commenting on it. They're just reading it, and they're not letting, and you have no idea that they're reading it. Right. And then out of the blue, you could get a DM that says, you know what? This has happened to me. I've been watching you for a while, and you've really been evolving a lot. And I'd love to hear like a little bit more about what you're doing exactly. You know, so there's that too. So removing friends is a tricky thing because you're never really 100% sure if maybe you're removing somebody that could be potentially someone down the line, right?
Hmm.
So it's a juggling act. It's a little bit of it. I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, definitely, perfectly. And I love what you said about, getting feedback of somebody that's actually been following your journey for a long time. Those are probably like the most easiest people to talk to, and maybe the easiest sales to convert, because we have to think about the buyer's journey. Because if they just watch like one piece of content, they're still considered new in your world, into your ecosystem, so it's going to take a lot more work to convert them to a sale if it's, something that they're looking to do. But for somebody that's been consuming your content quite often, could be a month, could be 2 months, 3 months, a year. I've had people also that come to me saying, I'm enjoying your content, keep up the good work. And sometimes those are the people that you want to have close conversations with and keep them on deck and follow up with, because they know who you are. You're establishing authority because you've been around for so long, and your words and your ideas are going to carry more weight because they've been consuming you for a long time and they've been learning from you. So that's why whenever I do video content or written content, I try to heavily go on the video side because I feel like you can reach a lot more people, even if they're not your Facebook friends. But I try to cover different bases, different angles in video content. Obviously, you want to give value. You want to tell people what you're learning, even if you're a beginner. You just signed up to a affiliate marketing program. You don't have results of your own. You don't have any testimonies, but you can actually leverage the community and the students' testimonies in your content as well, just to giving awareness, because not everybody knows exactly what we do as affiliate marketers. I'm an accountant, and my parents to this day still think I just do taxes. No, I don't. I hate taxes. I'd rather stab my eyeball out with a fork than to do taxes. I don't even do my own taxes. But no, I'm on more on the financial side of accounting, and we have to constantly explain, what it is that we're doing and how we help people and how we get compensated, depending on what type of company, what type of marketing that you do, whether it's high ticket network. You have to kind of explain, how you help people and get compensated.
Right.
And the best way to do it is to create videos. This is what it is. Shoot down any type of myths that you have about the profession, whether it's a pyramid scheme, it's a scam, because they are out there. But it's important that we spread the awareness of what we do, just so that people have the education, so that when they do come into the DMs with us, we don't have to explain it. We don't have to, waste time to explain it. We can actually spend more time getting to know them as a person and where they are at their journey.
Yes, absolutely. And that's where your content really does a lot of the, the as they say, the heavy lifting. I hate to use that because everybody says that now, but I have this thing about played phrases, like phrases that are used all the time. I always try and change them up a little bit so they don't sound exactly the same. But it's
Hmm.
it's very true about your content. That is really what builds a lot of connection with the audience, right? But I still say, and you know me, Anthony, You can write as much content as you want. You can do a ton of videos, and yes, yes, and yes. I do stories and video form stories, and I do written content. I do all of the content that most people do, right? But at the end of the day, it's your connection in the DMs with that person, that one-to-one connection that is going to solidify the relationship.
Mhm.
That's how I feel. Like, even if your content is great and it's important, it is. But in the DMs is where the real, like, that connection is actually, let's say, like, concluded. Let's just say that, like, it solidified in the
Yeah.
one into that one-to-one connection. So yes, but I agree with you with the power of video content, and frankly, Facebook is pushing that now. So the more video content you can do, the better they're going to love you in terms of your algorithm stuff. Your written content, it still gets engagement. It
Mhm.
definitely still gets engagement. But the long form the long form written content, I would say, is a lot less than it used to be. Like, it used to be really great. Like, when I first came online 3 years ago, I would get 100 plus comments. Like I didn't even think twice about it. Now it's significantly less.
Oh, yeah, the landscape has changed for sure as far as the algorithm.
Oh yeah, big time. So big time. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and speaking of like the algorithm and Facebook telling you, what they want from you and what they're pushing, Facebook is always in this constant battle with TikTok. TikTok was the first social media platform that was introducing short videos, short form videos. So Facebook, and that's what gave the birth of Facebook Reels and Instagram Reels because they wanted to directly challenge TikTok's version of short form videos. And that's why you'll see that there's a lot of monetization opportunities with creating videos. Where if you turn on your professional mode, for those of you that received the invitation, if your reels are catching fire, and especially if you're consistently putting out a Facebook reel that's getting on average 400, 500, 600 views, they will invite you to turn on your professional dashboard. And basically, what the professional dashboard is that it'll show you how many people are following you, so that'll be public information, and you have the opportunity to monetize based on the amount of views that you get on your videos, on your reels. I did have it on at one point in time. I think it was last year, 2 years ago, when I was like really, doing like 3 videos a day, and I had it on. But the thing is, if you're going to be monetizing it from you, maybe they're not going to push your video out as much. So I was like testing out something, so I toggled turning the professional dashboard off, and for some reason I can't turn it on. And good luck, getting through with Facebook support because I feel like there is no Facebook support to, have the issue fixed on my profile. But I keep getting the invitation to say that you got reels that got over 600 views. Consider turning on your professional dashboard. I would get that notification on my profile, or when I go into the reel section to create a reel. And I'm like, all right, I'll try to turn it back on, but it doesn't happen. But for people that are looking for another income source, if you want to become an influencer, this is an avenue for you. And you can do this on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and I believe also on Instagram. But like Lauren said, you can do all the video written content that you want. The relationship will be solidified, and probably most likely the beginning and the ending of the conversion to a sale will happen in the DMs in the messenger. And we're going to be talking a little bit about pivoting from those conversations to your offers. And for those people that don't know in the audience what an offer is, it's basically um, devising your plan for them, where this is how we're going to get you to X, Y, and Z. This is the vehicle that will help you get you there. And these are the points that we're going to be tackling and also unpacking the vehicle that you're going to be presenting. So if the vehicle is a high ticket product or course, this is what it's going to be covering. These are all the benefits. And plus you're going to have your bonuses at the end. As you get more, into the business, I'm going on about 2.5 years. In the beginning, I felt like I didn't have any bonuses because I've only done like one course at the time. So my bonuses were pretty small. Worst comes to worst, you can do something monetary. You can get somebody a pair of AirPods or whatever, using your commission money to give somebody um, that physical value. I know, Lauren, with you, you had given some type of membership or credits to Audible, which I
Yes.
love Audible. I do a lot of personal development books nowadays, not so much reading my epic fantasy novels, but it's more so personal development. I'm reading right now The Science of Getting Rich by Walter Wallace, which is a very, very good book. It's very short, so I recommend that to anybody. But think of things when you're talking about outlining your offers, and we have videos in my guide section on in this group that goes into an offer creation masterclass, so you can get the scoops and the details about how to structure your offer. But it's very important that at a certain point in time in that relationship of the prospects that you talk to, you have to go from here to now giving them your offer, and now the ball's in your court.
Yes. And I think a lot of people forget, a lot of affiliates forget that in order to make money, you have to make offers. And if you're not making offers, you're not going to make money. It's
Hmm.
it's pretty much that simple. And for whatever reason it is that you're not making the offer, maybe you're not aligning with what you're promoting. Maybe you're not feeling it comfortable in your own skin about what you're standing behind. You need to examine all of these things and figure out, if you're not making the offers, why aren't you making the offers? Is it
Hmm.
because you're not talking to candidates that are the right fit? Are you maybe adding the wrong people? um, all of these pieces have to align in order to produce that income. And it's a process that you go through. You look at who your customer avatar is, you go to places where that customer avatar would be, and then you add those targeted people to your audience. Wait for them to respond to you, and then that's when things start to roll. If they're going to connect with you in the DMs, perhaps through a conversation, if they're going to see your content and then connect with you in the DMs for a conversation. It's going to really depend on the person, how much you're resonating with them, how much of a match the two of you are to work together. So there's a lot of nuances to all of this. Um,
Hmm.
and a lot of it is seat time. A lot of it is seat time. It's trial and error, especially if you haven't been in sales. Like I wasn't in sales. I mean, I had
Nice.
my own business and I still have my own catering business, but like I never really like sat in front of someone and like gave them like an offer that was well constructed and put together. What I would do is people would see my profile. I would have these great reviews in these different places where I was, like as a caterer, and people would come to me. So it was very attraction marketing oriented, what I was doing. Like I wasn't reaching out to people specifically to do sales in that regard. So there's a learning curve. Like I never did that. I was never like adding targeted people and then going to them and talking to them in the DMs. No. When the person would come to me, they will have read my reviews. They would be like maybe 75% sold, right? And then all I would have to do is push them over the fence for that 25%. And that was a mix of conviction, because I know
Hmm.
what I deliver and I know what I have and I'm very confident about it, right? And a mixture of conviction and the right offer, which in the case of catering would be a menu that rang their bell, which would be, like the type of cuisine. It would be, how I put together the staffing. So that, an offer in catering is constructed that way. What we're doing here is a different thing. But it's an offer, right? It's an offer that consists of core pieces that you're going to be presenting to the right person at the right time. And that's the other piece of this, is you have to know And this is all part of learning sales and marketing. You have to
Mhm.
know when is the right time to present that offer. And there's not any definitive time that you can like say, okay, everybody's going to be ready after 2 conversations in Messenger and after they read like 10 pieces of your content. No, because everyone's going to come into the process at a different point.
Mhm.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And timing is very definitely very important because, if they're not, there, if they don't have the resources at that point in time financially, or they don't have the headspace or the mindset to actually pull the trigger and do it, because, I've had people that told me that, I'm ready for, what you have to offer, and I want to better myself, but for some people, I had to say, "No, I don't think, you're ready because you don't have the, I won't say prerequisites, but I feel like you don't have the conviction that this is going to work." And I had a conversation with somebody recently that they had this "I can't" attitude. By
Mm-hmm.
you saying all the time that you can't do something, you're really, putting yourself into that mindset where it's not going to work. You
Absolutely.
know, it's like I can't do this. I can't see myself talking to people. I can't see myself as becoming a salesperson. And I find it to be, you don't have to be a salesperson to succeed in this business. It's mostly kind of like a referral. How many times have you, and I've done content pieces on this, how many times have you actually referred somebody to watch a movie or referred somebody to go to that restaurant? Maybe it could have been, from Lauren's catering food or business. How many times have you actually referred somebody to a recipe to cater? I'm sure you have, Lauren. The uh, the the food that you prepare, I'm sure you've referred a lot of people to say this is the recipe that I use to create X. So if you take being a salesperson out of the picture as a basic, a referrer or becoming a professional referrer, that's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
when you, in the case of being an affiliate marketer, we have to take it a step further where not only do we have to refer people to a particular product or service, we have to outline the plan. How is this vehicle going to be aligned with their plan and what they want to do to succeed? Succeed.
Absolutely. You have to, yes, where they are, you have to establish that. Where are they?
Hmm.
Right? Do they have a problem? Which is, if they don't have a problem, there's no sale.
Right.
It's right there. That's it. There's no sale. But if you meet them there, they have a problem, you have a way to solve that problem. You establish where they want to be, like where they are, where they want to be, and then you position yourself and whatever it is that you're promoting as the bridge to get from where they are to where they want to be. And that's when the sale is made.
Hmm.
Couple that with timing. Now, I have one coach that tells, and I love the way she puts this, is she's like, there has to be a lion in the room with you, and you have to figure out how to get away from that lion. That is how you have to want so badly not to get eaten that you will do anything you can to get away from that lion. That is the level of conviction that you have to have when you jump into anything new, really. Anything
Hmm.
new where you want to succeed and you want to hit goals, right? That's the level of conviction that you have to have.
Yeah, definitely. And what you're mentioning is creating a sense of urgency. By you fearing for your life and being locked into a room with a lion, you have urgency. You want to get away from that lion. So a lot of times, what we're doing as far as creating content, instead of convincing or twisting people's arms to buy from us, we have to create that sense of urgency. We have to create that sense of curiosity. And a lot of it is with our content as far as how we position ourselves with the direct headlines. And, that will eventually come into the DMs and the messaging, where if you want to show them something that is very exciting. You have to be excited because if you come off as something that like, yeah, it's great or whatever, it's going good. People will pick up on that. They pick up on that behavior, especially if you're doing sales calls or video calls on Zoom or StreamYard for that matter. How you present it yourself and how you present the offer to be appealing is very important because if they don't feel that, they have to jump on it, there's a need for it, then they're not going to pull the trigger. And if they do, they might have buyer's remorse. And we all know we don't want that. It's a hassle to refund somebody of their purchase if there's any refunds available. Because I know that a lot of high ticket courses or companies they don't provide a refund after you buy their service, and you don't want information to be collecting digital dusts. I forgot who mentioned that, Lauren. I know the person that we learned it from. I forget who that person was. Do you know who that was? Data dust.
It could have been JC.
It could have been him, or I'm thinking of another
JG.
one.
Could have been
Uh,
JG.
yeah, yeah, and it's very true. How many courses have we been through in the past where we've accumulated so much information that it's just collecting digital dust?
Oh,
And
absolutely. I'm guilty of that, by the way. Like I have one course, I'm dying to go through it, but it's
hmm
like I get so busy and I have other things that I want to also get through that are maybe more pressing. Let's just say because there's time elements and stuff. And there's this one course that I have not gone into, and I know it's a great course, but I have not had time, and it has definitely gathered digital dust. There's no question, because I think that's another issue, though, Anthony, in our space is that people there's a certain level of the famous shiny object syndrome. It's
hmm
not that you're purchasing things because you're, let's say, because you're not sure of what you want. It's not so much that, but it's like there's some good things that you see that come in front of you. Maybe they're in beta, maybe they're a bonus to something else, and then they become a program or whatever the case is. And you get it, you have it in your arsenal, and you want to go through it, but you just don't have time to do it. So there's that too.
hmm
Not really shiny object syndrome in that sense, but there's just so many things going on in the space, and it's always evolving and always changing, and you want to stay on top of things. Like I have this um like a training on AI and using that in your content, right? I have
hmm
yet to finish that training because it's just there's not enough hours in the day to do everything. So because again, income producing activities, like if I have a choice to watch a couple of modules from a program that I've been yearning to finish, or if I have a choice to spend 2 hours in the DMs, what is the better choice in terms of my business? In terms of producing income, right? It would be spending 2 hours in the DM. So it's
Yep.
like, again, it's like your time planning. This all comes into it too, like how you're planning your day, how you're structuring your day. Is it work blocks? Is it time blocks that you're doing X amount of tasks in this time and that you're doing, so that comes into it too, just off the back of what you said.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about time blocks, my wife actually bought me an actual time block that I should start using. It has a half hour, 60 minutes, 5 minutes, 15, because my mind, the way it works, I get distracted by dust. So I definitely have to make use of that.
So do you push on the side that you want? Like, and does it go off? Is it like a timer?
So basically, like on the back of it, you get to turn it on and off, and you can control the volume. So you click
Okay.
it on, you can make it higher or lower, and then once you turn it on, you place it down, and the time block that you want to have is facing up on you, and it will automatically count it down. Let's see. So it's now
That's
on.
really cute.
So now I have it on the 60-minute time block, but if I turn it over to the 30-minute, now it adjusts to a 30 minutes. And obviously, when the timer goes off, then your time block is done. Now you can
Right.
start to move off to something else. Saying it is so easy, doing it is actually very hard. And think we can all agree that, talking about it in theory, anything in theory is so easy, but actually implementing the what you learn is the hard part. You have to become coachable in order to succeed. You have to actually take the information that they tell you and actually do it and be consistent with it. And I've been very big on consistency to post every day. And what I've actually learned recently is that, very rarely do people remember what you post 30 days ago, 60 days ago. So if you're in a time crunch like I always am, Lauren mentioned that she goes through seasonal periods with her catering business. I go through seasonal periods where I'm so busy in accounting, if I'm not so busy right now, where I just don't have simply, the mindset to sit down for a few hours and say, okay, this is the content, this is my, copy that I want to write. But you can actually take a piece of content that you did, you know, months ago and just, kind of reword the headline, still make it appealing for people to read it, maybe remove the picture that you've done, change a few words here and there, and there's your post. That's, another strategy as far as repurposing your content in addition to, using the same content from, one social media platform to another, which is really great. And Facebook and Instagram have that feature where you make a post on either platform, it automatically gets uploaded to either Facebook or Instagram, depending on where you're posting it from. And I know, Lauren, that you favor Instagram mostly because they have more appealing stickers as far as
Oh yeah.
stories and videos.
Yes, I love Instagram for that. Absolutely. Like they have really cute features that you can use. It flows much nicer. Facebook's clunky, in terms of like their emojis and their different things that you can put on there because I love to use the little moving figures and all of that to make my stories more fun. But
Hmm.
yeah, so what I do is I create an Instagram. I have a creator account in Instagram, and then I'll cross post that to Facebook. So I don't really have a following. I managed to get a following, a small one on Instagram. It's actually pretty funny because I'm not pushing anything on Instagram for affiliate, but
Hmm.
this creator account allows me to do the cross posting, which is really awesome. I love doing that. Also, Instagram has the link option where you can put the link to your group, and then, like, because I'm always doing a lot of CTAs to my group, because then in
Yep.
my group I do a lot of trainings, and I'm really ramped that up a lot in the last few months, like more so than I've done in the past. Now it's my 3-year anniversary this month, actually, that I've been on.
Wow. 3 years into the business, everybody. And,
Yeah.
and that's really longevity for a lot of people. Some people that come into this space and they only last for a few months or 1 year at that point. They say, something is just not working or whatever. This is not good for me. I'm going to call it quits, throw in the towel. And I actually almost did until I met Lauren, where she actually showed me, how to do affiliate marketing the organic way as opposed to, um, just buying leads and solo ads. And I think at that point in my career as a marketer, I didn't know how to establish a relationship with leads with their email addresses as far as doing email broadcasts. Not to say that email broadcasting is not a great tool because it is. It definitely helps you to have that connection with your audience, but you have to, I feel, have to have a rapport with them, in order for them to get to your lists, into your newsletter, your email lists, because that's going to be more powerful. So nowadays, whenever I want people to check out something in my group, I'm going to write an email and just basically having a call to action to bring them to a certain training or to a certain video, much like what I'm going to be doing after this interview is over. I'll say that we had an amazing interview with Lauren. We gave good value and golden nuggets. Check out the video. Here's the link. And what's that going to do? That's going to bring them back into where you want them to go. In this case, I want them to go back into my group. Why? Because I have so much resources in there. That's another thing too. We talked about digital dust and data dust. You put stuff in your guide section. You have to tell people, guys, there's so much stuff. There's so much training that I've recorded for you, and it's in my guide section. I believe the first email that I have in the broadcasting campaigns, like the 7-day nurturing process when somebody first gets onto your email list. And I break it down very simple. Okay, now that you're in this group, welcome. Now let's make sure you don't miss anything. Turn your notifications on. I have screenshots, whether you're on the mobile device, whether you're on your desktop, to say, okay, you're in the group, go to here, turn your notifications on, send me a friend request on Facebook. You have to kind of really tell people. You have to do maximum prompting. As my wife tells me that I need sometimes, I need maximum prompting in order to remember to do certain things. But I feel that everything that we've talked about, Lauren, even though we didn't have a live audience, but I feel that this is very valuable stuff that it's so fundamental, but it's so important. And learning how to have conversations, when to make the offer, when not to make the offer is very important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's key to everything that we're doing here online. And again, people shouldn't expect overnight results. That's where I think we lose a lot of people along the way. And
Hmm.
that to a certain degree is the person's mindset when they're coming into this. For some weird reason, they think because it's online, their computer is going to turn into an ATM like overnight, like without doing anything. Like it's the most bizarre thing. But people have that concept in their head, right? Um, so people need to realize when they come in here, this is a business. You don't build a business overnight. It takes a long time to
Hmm.
build a business, and it depends how much time you have to devote to it, how much you're putting into it, and that's what you're going to get back out of it. And it takes time. A lot of time you think you're not making progress. You could have nothing that is actually tangibly coming out of the work that you're doing because you're going every day, you're consistent, and you're still not getting anything out of it. Eventually, though, it will happen. That's why they say don't give up because it really
Hmm.
depends on a lot of factors. So people need to realize have patience too with yourself and with the process.
Definitely. And what we always say is that when an object is in motion, in momentum, it's very hard to stop that momentum. So in your daily method of operations, if there's actually things, one of my mentors calls them non-negotiables. If there are revenue producing activities that you excel in, that you want to do consistently every day, those are things that will keep you in motion because they'll keep you around and relevant on social media. So it's very important that once you identify what you can do every day and do it well consistently, those are the things that you have to really have in your arsenal as far as your DMO, your daily method of operations. But I feel that conversations and establishing that networking power is still important. I was talking to, and there's a case that I bring up to people that Amazon, yes, they do 500 billion in sales annually or something like that, some huge crazy number. And there's a lot of network marketing companies that are very good at the networking side where they actually connect with their customers where Amazon doesn't. Amazon, they get a lot of brand partners that just want to sell their stuff on their site. Doesn't matter if they're high quality, low quality, or with any country. They don't have that method of networking image or mindset in sites. So I think that's why they've instituted people to upload their video testimonials, their video reviews, and there's also monetization opportunities. I'm not going to get too much in there, but it's all about establishing the network. And I feel that once you have that credibility in your content, whether it's video or written, you ultimately will close the sale, convert them in the DMs, in the messenger, as Lauren really beautifully described how you can do that. So, Lauren, I know you have a workshop where you specialize in turning cold traffic to sales. It's called From Cold to Sold. That is a Facebook group that people can get resources and the training. What is the group name? Is it Cold to Sold?
It's called to sold. Yes, it's
Okay, very good.
yes, it's a buyers group. So anyone that's in there is a buyer of the program. It's a workshop that we did together with my partner Daisy Jones. And basically, what we're doing is we're showing the correlation, very strong correlation, and the importance of synthesis between your content and your messenger conversations. So it's like you're coming at, from two angles, and those two things together are going to form the basis of your relationship with people. And that's what the workshop is. That's the premise around the workshop.
That was great, and I actually attended the first workshop because I know you guys have you've done more than one. I attended the first one, and it is amazing information that you guys are going to be learning from that one workshop alone. And what I find very powerful is that it's still relevant. Even though you've done it, I think it was year and a half ago. What you guys have chronicled and detailed in that workshop is still working today as far as closing sales in the DMs. But I wanted to thank you, Lauren, for coming back with us to share your expertise in mastering the DMs and conversations. And remember, guys, even though you are in business for yourself, you do not have to be by yourself in this business. We are all here to help you, and we will definitely see you guys on the next video. Take care for now.